Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? It's the Grand Line, and so today I'm going to do a review of One Piece Chapter 893, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about today, and I am super excited. This chapter was phenomenal. Actually got really good fight scenes with Katakuri and Luffy, which I was really hoping for in the future, at least, to have more of just a one chapter regarding the fight scene, and it was a good chapter about the fight. It wasn't like some random stuff that Katakuri kept threatening him and Luffy's running away. None of that. Like, this chapter, the meat and the potatoes, everything was on the table, and it was fantastic in my personal opinion. Alright, so to start things off with last chapter, I know I talked a little bit about there being like a turning point with Luffy getting stabbed by Katakuri's like trident/spear, and I thought that like at that point, because Luffy's eyes went white, so I thought he was gonna come back, hit the full blow, get the full thing where he gets this huge like power up at that point, which didn't exactly happen. But a lot of people on the other channels that I saw on YouTube, and my one friend I actually talked to directly after reading this chapter, was thinking that what we just saw in the last chapter, that end scene, was actually Luffy's future sight coming into play, and that was actually the future, which I thought I actually missed, because that was actually like a really valid hypothesis in a sense, and thoughts on what could have been happening. But that actually was not true, and he actually did get stabbed by the trident, which was pretty painful, clearly. And I just think this chapter was phenomenal. There's so much good stuff. So the point of Flambe was kind of brought into like full circle at this point, at least. Like before, when Oda introduced her, a lot of people were really confused as to what her purpose in the story was, and man, her purpose was fulfilled really fast. Initially, just to set Katakuri off on a whole like tyrant, like just a rant and go completely nuts about it. So at least with this portion, you just have to respect Katakuri. That's the first thing that's got to come to my mind out of this chapter. After Katakuri is, like he says at the end, he respects Luffy as equal to him at this point, which is really cool at first, because Katakuri was kind of like treating him like trash, wasn't on the same level. It didn't matter what Luffy did. Katakuri saw him as elite and Luffy as nowhere near close to his level. But in this chapter, it's starting to be, like, his opinion completely changed, which is really cool. At least it's showing Luffy's starting to be able to keep up with an actual like Yonko commander. Not that Cracker wasn't one, it's just that Katakuri is on like a whole nother level in my personal opinion compared to Cracker. And so at least, like, I just want to say, like, at least with Katakuri, when he, completely, like, flipped out on Flambe and told her to get out and stop messing up the fight, like, you just have to respect Katakuri, because Katakuri then just stabs himself, like, just to even out what was happening and what he did to Luffy, because Luffy lost the focus of the fight, which allowed Katakuri to then stab him in the first place at that point, which is just, oh man, this fight is just so much more cool in my opinion now, because now that Katakuri like leveled the playing field after getting, like, I guess you would say like a cheap shot from Flambe distracting Luffy, so Katakuri was able to stab him. But you just have to respect Katakuri at this point. Like, he has so much respect for Luffy, which is really interesting for like a villain. Not that villains, like, I guess you would say like a villain or like an adversary or an enemy that Luffy has to fight and whatnot, but this is like a kind of like respect. I don't know if I haven't really seen that completely with other villains in One Piece or other enemies Luffy's had to fight. Now, forgive me if I am forgetting somebody, like, just put it out in the comments if there is someone else that like sort of did this thing, but at the current moment in my mind, I don't think so, and this is kind of unique in a sense. Another cool thing to bring up is the Rayleigh flashback, which every time I see a Rayleigh flashback, I'm already getting all hyped up, because you just know it's gonna have some cool implication in the future, at least next chapter or not. And it's always, all the Rayleigh flashbacks are always discussing like how Luffy's gonna become stronger, what's his next move into becoming more powerful as a character and whatnot. And I want to point out one thing about the observation haki, I believe. Yeah, the color of observation is what Rayleigh says in this. And it seems that with the color of observation haki, you kind of have to just go with the flow, almost, in a sense, which sounds kind of weird, but it's like Luffy seems to enable this ability solely when he's not even thinking about it, in a sense. Sort of, he's just in the fight, and he just kind of goes along with the fight, flows in with the fight, and does his own thing, and he just ends up dodging it, which could be like me just misinterpreting it, and Luffy actually having a lot of he's just able to, like, it's just complete luck in a sense that he's able to like dodge her bullets and everything like that, but he's already exhausted. But I'm just saying, like, it seems like this sort of technique is most effective when it's fluent in the battle, and he's just going along with the battle completely, and it's just being more and more going as the battle goes on. He's able to activate this ability consistently and more effectively. hopefully, I hope he gets this ability in this this arc and like this fight, which would be really cool. One other thing I want to talk about with Katakuri, besides Katakuri then just like stabbing himself to even out the odds or even level the playing field in a sense, he actually takes off his like scarf mask, whatever you want to call it, and shows his face to Flambe in a sense. And I know this, like, I want to like really bring up the impact of this point, because before, remember, Katakuri was eating his like whole donuts, and he doesn't want anyone to see him just excessively eating snacks and whatnot, because that like deters from how like he's like the chosen brother in a sense, and he's super like valued in the Big Mom crew and everything, and he doesn't care. Like he just does not care anymore at this point, and he's just so to the point that you do not interfere with our fight. Like this is our fight. By you interfering with that, it's not gonna mean anything if I win in a sense. And he doesn't care if people mock him at this point. Like he's just completely like, it doesn't matter to him. Like he just wants to win. It's like almost that he wants to be respected by Luffy in a sense. Is kind of how I see it, which is really cool. How both the characters they're fighting at the top of their level, and they both want to be respected by each other in a sense. And it kind of leads me to think that at least with this portion of the fight, that I don't want to say this, but I feel like Katakuri almost and Luffy could end up forming like a friendship at the end of this fight because of how they sort of talk in a sense. And then, oh my god, I almost forgot though, but the Conqueror's Haki was completely sick. The Conqueror's Haki was insane. But at least they have like this really high respect and high regard for one another throughout this fight, and it'd be really cool if they ended up like being friends post this arc, or even if Katakuri ends up leaving the Big Mom Pirates, which I shouldn't even say that, but if it did happen, it would be amazing. That's all I gotta say. But the Conqueror's Haki was completely sick. That was phenomenal. Like that is like, especially when it just knocks them all out. And Flambe, who is clearly just irritating both the characters, is just completely unconscious at that point. Oh my lord. And then the ending to that chapter where they're both fists are out ready to roll at it. Oh man, I'm so excited for 894, and I don't think there's a break, so it's gonna be fantastic next week. So I believe next chapter was probably gonna be more of the fight between the two of them, which would be phenomenal. And I can't wait to see that. Other than that, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. That'd be appreciated. Y'all have a great day. Thanks. Bye.